Verse 2. For I determined, now remember, this is the Apostle Paul speaking, the guy who wrote about half of the New Testament. For I determined to know nothing among you except Jesus Christ, and Him crucified. Remember, the context of chapter 2 begins way back in chapter 1 at verse 18, where Paul says, for the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. That's the beginning of the conversation. That context flows right through. This may seem obvious, and forgive me, I don't mean it in any belittling way, but let me just say it so we've said it. Who knows, somebody watching the video, might not get this. So I'll say it to you, but mean it for them. If you're preaching the gospel, it's about one thing. Jesus and what He did on the cross. Jesus and what He did on the cross. That's the central message of the gospel. You leave that out of the gospel, it's not the gospel. That doesn't mean that we don't need to discuss the holiness and glory of God, as Sean rightly said earlier, the perfection of original creation, the nature of the rebellion of man, sin, the fall, death. That has to come in. We have to talk about original sin. We have to talk about the condemned state of unsaved humanity, for sure. But the focus isn't on the unsaved people. The focus is on Jesus Christ and Him crucified. What He did on the cross. That's the gospel. And notice that Paul focused on that to the exclusion of all else. If ever there was a guy who could stand in a pulpit and preach on everything, Paul. The guy had PhD level knowledge of the Old Testament. A Pharisee of the Pharisees. Verse 2. Do you see it? Burn it into your brain. When you're communicating the gospel to other people, listen, the Jehovah's Witnesses shows up to your door and wants to debate with you world events and the end of time and prophecy and whatever else. Say, no thank you. I'm interested in talking to you about one thing. Who is Jesus? No, I don't want to talk about that. Who is Jesus? No, not that either. Who is Jesus? Same with the Mormons. Same with the Christadelphians. Same with every Roman Catholic you know. Don't focus on what's wrong with Rome. Don't get into debates over church polity. Focus on who Jesus is and what He did.